let's just get into it. Got some news to share with you. I think a few people already knew, but I'm going to be a dad soon, which is equally. Thank you. I've been telling people this. It's equally been the most exciting and the most scary or terrifying thing at the same time. Simultaneously. Like I wake up, I'm like, this is going to be great. But at the same time, I'm like, holy shit, this is for real. This is really real. Yeah, it's fucking crazy.
It's terrifying.
And it's funny because they sell books on this. They're like, how to be a dad. You know what I mean?
How to not be a scared dad?
I don't know if they write books about that.
I guarantee you half the aisle is just, you go in, you see instead of the mother version, like the father version, you see these guys are freaking out. Probably half of them are like 17 and they're just like, they're some of them are looking at like how to be a dad and some are looking at like different type of travel books to see where they can
they can
bounce off too, and like where they can fake their death and all that sort of shit. Right?
Yeah. So the first book they're looking for is just like how to be a dad, and then the second was like, all right,
how to fake your dad.
You got the chapters 1 through 6. Can't be a dad. How to fake your death. Yeah, it's in the shook section. So
Yeah. Indigo's got a full on shook section for that.
Yeah. Are you shook? Yeah. Aisle 7.
Yeah.
So I was actually thinking about this because, it's really fucked up, but I'm thinking about the drive home, right? Because if you think about it, like a baby comes out, it's screaming, it's probably pissing, why not? Right.
Yep.
And it was moments before it just came out of the womb, must be a really trippy situation. They wipe it off, they brush it off, maybe give it a quick hose down. They hose it down, right? Check the heartbeat. And then there's like, all right, well, we really need this bed now, so I need you to leave.
Yeah, get the fuck out.
Kind of like, just get the fuck out of here. And you're like, but doctor, is that everything? They're like, listen, I just work here. Okay. Like we need you to leave. All right. And then you're walking out the front doors and you get in the car and that's it. And that's the rest of your life. You're shook as hell. And that drive home must be either the longest drive and literally the longest drive, probably because you're driving like 20 kilometers an hour.
Yeah. Yeah. You're so terrified that something's going to happen to this child on the way back that you get a golf cart. You don't even drive your normal car because you like get a golf cart. You go kind of down like Lakeshore on one of those like smaller paths or something more like residential. Cause you're like, I'm not taking any sort of highway. I'm not taking any sort of like freeway, any major street where things can go down. I'm doing it by the book,
If there's a streetcar track, you're making a hard left. And you know what I mean? Like you're not taking that route.
Well, that's one of those things. I mean, as you said, you got it kind of going on. And as we're getting closer to the age where more of us are having that sort of stuff, like having kids and having, and a family and all that, like when I see these dudes, like have the kid in the like back seat, that secondary seat for like babies or whatever.
Yeah.
Going down Queen West. I'm like, man, this guy is brave. I wouldn't do that in a million years because you have a 750cc tire, one of those like little thin ones for like a 3-speeder or 9-speed or whatever the hell, 10-speed. You catch one of those on the streetcar tracks, you catapult the baby. It's going into next month.
I've seen some parents, and this really pissed me off when I saw this. Like I was making a left in the car, and I saw someone on a bike, and he had his 2 children in basically a box at the front of the bike. Have you seen these?
Yeah.
It's it's not at the back, it's at the front. So they're on a bicycle. Their kids are in the front, no seatbelts because it was probably built in his backyard or whatever it is, this box. And I'm like, dude, you're in the middle of a friggin' major intersection pointing left. You know what I mean? And like someone's about to T-bone those kids. It's just a bad scene. It's a bad look.
Oh, it's a terrible look. Like it's almost as if they don't care. They're just like, if something happens to the kid or happens to me or happens to both of us, I guess the whole nightmare's over.
Jesus Christ. I'm thinking like, I'm going to be that guy. I'm going to be that guy that's like driving from the hospital 15, 20 clicks an hour. And I'm going to get pulled over by a cop. The cop's going to be like, sir, have you been, smoking marijuana or anything like that? You're driving very slowly. I'd be like, no.
Some Xannies?
Yeah. Are you on a Zanny? Are you part of the Zanny family? You know what I mean? Tonight? And I'm going to be like, no, sir, I'm just I'm just driving my daughter home. She's 2 hours years old. You know what I mean? And he's going to be like, yeah, I guess that makes sense. Just drive safely. I'm like, cool. You know what I mean? It's going to be really trippy. But listen, the real trippy thing is when a kid grows up in today's day and age in 2021. Like I'm already seeing it in all these TV shows with the cyberbullying and just like, how do you control a kid with that phone? That phone is like crack, right? And it's like access to absolutely the worst things on the planet, right? Yeah. Like back in the day, moms were worried about their daughters getting pregnant in high school. And now I'm thinking like, I'd take that if it meant that my daughter didn't have like an OnlyFans account and was selling nudes online.
You know, a girl's got to eat though, right?
I know, but like I can give her the food.
Yeah. Well, so you know what? This is actually one of the things I was thinking about. Do dudes have OnlyFans? Like there must be.
No, it's still fans.
There must be dudes on that as well. So it's like,
even your son can be on OnlyFans too.
Yeah, exactly. So it's
what if like, the guys are making more money than the girls?
I don't know. I'd have to check
we'd have to subscribe to a few OnlyFans there.
But I guess what would make you more uneasy? Would it be that if your daughter grew up to have an OnlyFans or your son grew up to have an OnlyFans?
I guess the thing is,
or like, what if your son grew up or your daughter grew up to see that you had an OnlyFans?
Oh, well, my mom has an OnlyFans, so you bet I'm going to have an OnlyFans. I mean,
no, but I know what you mean. I mean, I think, okay, to circle back a little bit to your first point. I mean, like in regards to like these technology sort of stuff, it's such a double-edged sword, right? Because you're like, you don't want to give them access to these devices and the internet so freely, because you're like, okay, what's out there? But at the same time, if you don't, then everybody, then they will get bullied at school because it'll be like, this is the Luddite. This is the like, analog kid who can't figure, who'd never seen an iPad before. He's a moron or whatever. You know what I mean? It's like, You're kind of damned if you do, you're damned if you don't. And it's such a, like an interesting society now from so many perspectives, but I understand that we're trying to like get more inclusive and more accepting and be nicer, which is obviously an understandable point. But at the same time, you're seeing like, kids with scooters not getting bullied. You know what I mean? Like it's almost too accepting.
Yeah. If you're seriously using a scooter on a daily basis, someone needs to have a talk with you.
Yeah.
And like you need to check yourself hard.
Like a razor scooter.
Yeah, if you got a razor and you're doing spin kicks or tail kicks or whatever it's called on a regular basis, and you're filming it and posting it on the internet.
I've seen dudes that are like 17, you'd think in sort of the prime of that kind of high school meeting women or whatever. And they're rolling down in a razor scooter with the jester hat doing tail whips. What the hell is that?
Does it look cool?
I mean, it's kind of sick, but not, but really not at all. Because you're just like, yo, get a skateboard, man.
Dude, just do a kickflip, do a couple ollies, you look cooler. You look like you're street surfing. I think, and babes and I mean, people just they like skaters. Skaters a niche. They're like, oh, I'm dating this skater dude or this skater girl, right? Like you don't say, oh, he's a scooterer. You know what I mean?
He wasn't a scooter boy since he a looter boy. It was a skater boy.
Now, let me ask you a question. Would you rather your daughter or son have their own OnlyFans account or be addicted to scootering?
What if their OnlyFans account was based around being nude on a razor?
Yeah, they're only showing like razor pics?
Only scoot.
See? Now that's a business idea. That's a niche idea we can make millions off.
I think, you know what? It's something that's going to be coming down the pipeline soon. So,
for all our listeners here, I know you're listening to the Fierce Kingz podcast. Welcome. But we might have to start one of those, what's it called? Patreons or one of those, crowdsourcing things for an only scoot.
Yeah. Yeah.
Coming soon.
Coming soon.